Imagine picking up a penny from the ground, something most people would ignore or even consider worthless. Now, picture that same small coin being worth not just a few cents, not even a few dollars, but potentially millions. That's the power and mystery hidden inside certain rare Lincoln pennies. And among them, the 1991 Lincoln cent holds a unique and surprising place. What seems like just another coin in your pocket, change, could actually be a gateway to an unimaginable fortune. Collectors across the world know that behind the shine of ordinary copper-plated coins, history, rarity, and rare varieties can turn one of the most overlooked pieces of American currency into a treasure worth life-changing sums. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1909, first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1991, the coin had already seen decades of circulation, design updates, and even changes in composition. While most people would never pay attention to a 1991 penny, collectors view it as part of a significant period in U.S. minting history. At first glance, the 1991 Lincoln cent appears standard: Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gaspereau. But within this mintage lies an opportunity: rare mint errors, unique variations, and pristine conditions that can elevate its value from 1 cent to astronomical amounts. When we talk about coins reaching values of millions, it's rarely about the coin's age alone, but rather about rarity, condition, and mistake-driven uniqueness. The 1991 Lincoln penny is a perfect example. Most 1991 cents were mass-produced in Philadelphia and Denver, resulting in billions of coins. With such a high mintage, one might think none of these could be rare, but that's where the mystery of mint errors comes in. Errors like double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planches, and even variations in lettering can make a 1991 Lincoln cent not just collectible, but legendary. It's not the year itself that creates the value, but the hidden secrets within a handful of coins that slipped past the mint's quality control. Among the most sought-after varieties of the 1991 Lincoln penny are double die obverses and reverses. A double die error occurs when the design is struck more than once in a misaligned manner, causing features like Lincoln's face, date, or inscriptions, such as Liberty or In God We Trust, to appear double. To the untrained eye, this might look like a blur or shadow, but to a collector it's the mark of rarity. Some 1991 double-die pennies have been auctioned for thousands, while those in pristine condition certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC have reached tens of thousands. If a unique, dramatic double die were to surface and catch global attention, its value could skyrocket into the millions, because rarity and demand drive the coin market beyond logic. Another fascinating factor about the 1991 penny is its role in the transition period of U.S. coin composition. By the early 1980s, pennies shifted from primarily copper to a copper-plated zinc core, drastically reducing production costs. But transitional errors, coins struck with the wrong composition planche, can make a single coin unbelievably rare. Imagine a 1991 penny struck accidentally on a leftover copper planche from 1982, or even a foreign coin blank. Such errors have been documented in other years, fetching staggering sums when they appear in auction. A discovery like this from the 1991 series could easily be valued in the millions, simply because it represents a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly. Collectors also place tremendous value on condition. Most 1991 Lincoln cents circulated heavily, meaning they're scratched, worn, and tarnished. But those few preserved in flawless, mint-state condition can become numismatic treasures. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are exceptionally scarce for this year. Auction records show that certain high-grade 1991 cents have already sold for thousands, and the demand for pristine coins only grows as time passes. If a perfect specimen graded MS-70, the absolute highest quality possible, were to hit the market, it could ignite a bidding war, pushing its price into the hundreds of thousands, or even millions, especially among wealthy collectors seeking the best of the best. The appeal of the 1991 Lincoln penny also lies in the story it tells. This coin was minted during a time of economic transition in the U.S., with rising costs and changes in materials. It represents not only Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy, but also the evolution of American money. For some collectors, owning a rare 1991 penny is like holding a piece of history in their hand. A reminder of how even the most ordinary objects can become symbols of extraordinary value. It's not just about the metal, but the narrative, the journey, and the rarity that makes it priceless. Auction houses and coin dealers have reported cases where seemingly ordinary 1991 pennies, found in jars, pocket change, or inherited collections, turned out to be rare treasures. Stories circulate in the coin collecting community of people who submitted their coins for grading only to discover they owned an error worth tens of thousands of dollars. Such discoveries fuel the dream of striking gold in the form of copper-plated zinc, keeping the excitement alive for both amateur treasure hunters and seasoned investors. It's this potential of the unknown hidden among billions of coins that keeps collectors scouring their change for that one-in-a-million piece. To the casual observer, the 1991 Lincoln cent might be dismissed as just another penny, but for those who know, it's a symbol of possibility. Rare errors like double dies, transitional planches, and off-center strikes elevate it from pocket change to a prize of unimaginable worth. Combine that with the power of condition, grading, and the global demand for coinage, and suddenly a simple penny can rival the value of luxury cars, mansions, or even art. That's the beauty of numismatics, the extraordinary hiding in plain sight. So the next time you come across a 1991 penny, don't overlook it. Hold it up to the light, examine its details, and consider what might lie beneath the surface. That small coin, disregarded by most, could be the key to $1 million discovery. It could be the rare error variety, the flawless mint specimen, or the unique anomaly that collectors have been searching for. And in that moment, you'll realize that fortune isn't always hidden in gold or diamonds. It can be waiting in the palm of your hand, in the form of a simple, unassuming Lincoln cent. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks so ordinary, so common, that most people would never give it a second glance. Yet what if I told you that this very coin, a simple 1995 Lincoln 1 cent, could be worth millions of dollars under the right conditions? Yes, a coin that people toss into jars, lose in couch cushions, or use to buy a stick of gum, might secretly hold the power to change your life forever. This is not just a penny, it's a key to hidden treasure, a symbol of overlooked value, and a reminder that history often hides in plain sight. For the next few moments, we will dive deep into the story of the 1995 Lincoln cent, uncovering its mysteries, its extraordinary value, and why collectors across the world are still hunting for it. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909, was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, rather than a symbolic design, chosen to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American history. By 1995, the Lincoln cent had already seen countless redesigns, minting variations, and special issues. But the year carried something special. While billions of cents rolled out of the Philadelphia and Denver mints in 1995, a rare mistake occurred, one that transformed a few ordinary pennies into highly coveted treasures. This mistake would later become legendary, driving coin collectors into a frenzy and sparking a wave of excitement that continues to this day. The error that made the 1995 Lincoln cent famous is what collectors call a double die obverse. To the casual eye, the coin looks normal at first glance. But upon closer inspection, the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" show clear doubling. It almost looks as if the letters were stamped twice, slightly shifted, creating a shadow-like effect. This error happened because of a misalignment during the die-making process at the U.S. Mint, and it turned a handful of 1995 pennies into million-dollar rarities. To think, a fraction of a cent to produce, but a fortune to own. It's one of those unbelievable quirks of history that makes coin collecting so thrilling. Collectors love coins that tell a story, and the 1995 double die Lincoln cent does exactly that. Tells us about human error in an age of machines, about rarity born not from design but from accident. What makes it even more special is its accessibility. Unlike some coins minted only in a few dozen or a few hundred, there were actually thousands of 1995 double die cents created before the mistake was discovered and corrected. That means there are still coins out there, sitting in collections, coin rolls or even change jars waiting to be discovered. And when discovered, they command staggering values at auctions, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of thousands, and in pristine condition, pushing towards the $1 million mark. Think about the sheer irony. People walk past pennies on the sidewalk thinking they're worthless, not worth the effort of bending down. Yet a single 1995 Lincoln cent with the right error can outshine gold, silver, and even diamond jewelry in value. It's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures don't glitter, they hide in plain copper. And in a world where rarity drives obsession, the 1995 double die cent has become a legend, a myth come to life. Beyond its error variety, the 1995 Lincoln cent also carries historical weight. The mid-1990s were a transitional era in coin production. The composition of the penny had shifted from mostly copper to copper-plated zinc in the early 1980s. By 1995, every cent struck was 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. This change made coins cheaper to produce, but also more fragile, more prone to corrosion and damage. For a 1995 cent to survive in perfect condition, untouched by time, is already rare. Combine that with the double die error, and you have a specimen so valuable that collectors are willing to pay fortunes to acquire it. Imagine stumbling across such a coin today. Maybe you inherited a jar of old pennies from your grandparents. Maybe you got a roll of pennies from the bank and casually began searching through them. You spot something odd. The letters look slightly off. At first you think it's just wear and tear, but then you look closer, perhaps under a magnifying glass, and realize the truth. You're holding one of the most valuable pennies in existence. That feeling of discovery, the adrenaline rush of realizing you have $1 million coin in your hand, is something only a few lucky people have ever experienced. The story of the 1995 penny is not just about money, it's about perspective. How often do we overlook the small things in life because they seem insignificant? The penny is a metaphor for hidden value, for the treasures lying unnoticed in our everyday lives. Just as collectors search tirelessly through rolls of coins, we too must look carefully at the world around us. Sometimes the overlooked, the underestimated, and the dismissed hold the greatest worth. What makes the 1995 double die penny even more captivating is how it bridges the gap between ordinary people and elite collectors. You don't need to be a millionaire to own one. Many people have found them in circulation. It's one of those rare cases where history and fortune intersect in the palm of an ordinary citizen's hand. And that accessibility is what fuels the legend. The idea that anyone anywhere could stumble upon a life-changing coin keeps the hunt alive. As we dive deeper, the value of such coins is not just monetary but emotional. Collectors treasure them because they are stories frozen in metal, mistakes immortalized by time. They connect us to history, to the hands that minted them, and to the millions who once used them in everyday life. They're reminders of how the smallest object can carry immense weight and meaning. Now think about the auctions where these coins appear. The room fills with anticipation as the bidding begins. Collectors from around the world compete, the price climbing higher and higher. The tension is electric, the stakes enormous, and at the center of it all, a single penny, no larger than the tip of your thumb, commanding more value than luxury cars, than houses, than treasures that most of us can only dream of. This is the power of the 1995 Lincoln cent, a coin that redefines worth. Even today, coin dealers, numismatists, and treasure hunters scour their collections in hopes of finding the 1995 double-die cent. They know that while billions of ordinary pennies exist, only a fraction of them carry the magic of rarity. And those few have the power to change lives. Stories circulate of families paying off debts, of collectors making headlines, of discoveries that spark new passion in the hobby. The legend continues to grow, making the 1995 penny one of the most talked about coins in modern history. The beauty of this story is that it's not over. Somewhere, hidden in circulation or in a forgotten jar of coins, more of these treasures wait to be found. And the question lingers, could you be the one to find it? Could you be holding $1 million penny without even knowing it? The thrill of that possibility is what keeps collectors searching, what keeps the myth alive. So next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it. Don't walk past it. Don't think it's worthless. Pick it up, examine it, and remember the story of the 19. Remember that value is often hidden where you least expect it, waiting for the right eyes to see it. Because in the end, this isn't just about coins. It's about finding meaning, worth, and treasure in the ordinary. And sometimes, just sometimes, the smallest coin can carry the heaviest fortune. Imagine picking up a coin that looks so ordinary, so familiar, that you wouldn't even glance at it twice. Yet hidden within that simple piece of copper is the possibility of holding a treasure worth thousands or even millions of dollars. The 1959 Lincoln 1-cent coin is one of those fascinating cases where something so common can hide a rare variety or minting error that makes it worth a fortune. Most people think of pennies as nearly worthless, something you toss into a jar or drop on the street without a care. But in the world of coin collecting, the tiniest details can turn a single cent into a life-changing discovery. The 1959 Lincoln cent is one of the most interesting and talked about coins in American numismatics, not just for its design but for the mysteries and rare versions that surround it. The year 1959 was a historic moment in the story of the Lincoln cent. From 1999 until 1958, the reverse of the coin displayed 2 wheat ears, a design by Victor D. Brenner that had become iconic over the decades. But in 1959, the U.S. Mint introduced a brand new reverse to mark the 50th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln Memorial design. This was a monumental change because it replaced the beloved wheat design that had been in circulation for half a century. The new reverse, designed by Frank Gaspareau, depicted the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with the tiny figure of Lincoln visible inside the monument. This was the first time in U.S. coinage history that a person appeared on both the obverse and reverse of the same coin. For collectors, this change in design marked the beginning of a new era, making 1959 not just another year for pennies, but a turning point in coin history. Billions of Lincoln Memorial cents were struck in 1959 at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. At first glance, the coins looked ordinary, just a new design replacing the old wheat ears. But as the years went by, the 1959 penny began attracting attention for an unusual reason: rumors of an extremely rare error coin that should not exist. The story goes that in 1959, a Lincoln cent with the old wheat ears reverse somehow made its way into circulation. In other words, a coin dated 1959 but still showing the wheat reverse from 1958. Such a coin would be an incredible rarity, a transitional error that never should have been struck. Only a handful of people claim to have ever seen one, And when examples surface at auction, they create a storm of debate. Some collectors believe these are genuine transitional errors worth massive sums, while others argue they are fabrications or altered coins. Regardless of the controversy, the very idea of a 1959 wheat cent has captivated the coin community for decades. One famous case involved a 1959 penny with a wheat reverse that was authenticated and sold at auction for tens of thousands of dollars. Some experts questioned its legitimacy, but the coin passed multiple grading and authentication processes, making it one of the most mysterious modern rarities in U.S. coin history. If genuine, such a coin could easily be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions today, because of its absolute uniqueness. That's what makes the 1959 penny so exciting for collectors. Not only is it the first year of the Lincoln Memorial design, but it also carries the intrigue of a possible error that bridges two eras of U.S. coinage. But the mysteries of the 1959 penny don't end there. Like many other coins, this year also has its share of double die errors, off-center strikes, and misstrikes that can make ordinary cents extremely valuable. For example, double die errors on the obverse can show extra thickness or doubling in the inscriptions like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date. Strong examples of these double dies can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on the severity of the doubling and the condition of the coin. These coins may not grab headlines like the controversial 1959 wheat reverse, but to serious collectors they are treasures worth hunting for. Off-center strikes are another major source of value. These occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be shifted and leaving part of the coin blank. A 1959 penny with a dramatic off-center strike can fetch hundreds or more depending on how much of the design is missing and how well the date remains visible. Collectors love these dramatic errors because they are visually striking and clearly demonstrate the minting process gone wrong. There are also rare cases of 1959 pennies struck on the wrong planche. Imagine a penny accidentally struck on a dime blank or even a foreign coin blank. These types of errors are extremely scarce and highly sought after. Values for such off-metal errors can reach into the thousands and in some cases tens of thousands. Because the 1959 penny was such a monumental change in design, any unusual minting error from that year carries extra historical significance. Proof coins from 1959 also hold collector interest. These were struck at the Philadelphia Mint with special polished dies and planches to create mirror-like fields and sharp details. While proof coins are generally more common, flawless examples graded as PR70 can still command impressive prices. Collectors especially value cameo or deep cameo proof pennies from this era, which have a striking contrast between frosted designs and mirrored fields. The most exciting aspect of the 1959 penny, however, is that it represents the beginning of a design that lasted for half a century. From 1959 until 2008, every Lincoln cent carried the memorial reverse. This makes the very first year of issue historically significant, and even ordinary 1959 pennies in uncirculated condition are more desirable than many later dates. A pristine high-grade 1959 or 1959D penny can bring in strong prices simply because it marks the start of an era in U.S. coinage. Collectors around the world continue to search for the elusive 1959 wheat reverse coin, hoping to uncover another specimen in rolls of old pennies or inherited collection. The mystery of whether more exist keeps the excitement alive, and if another one were to surface today, it could send shockwaves through the coin market. Some believe that only one or two exist, while others suspect more may still be hiding in private collections or unsearched jars of pennies sitting in basements and attics. The possibility that such a coin could be out there is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Think about it. Every time you come across a 1959 penny, you are holding a piece of history. It might be a common coin worth only 1 cent, or it might be an era that transforms it into a treasure worth thousands or even millions. The key is to look closely, to train your eye for the details that others overlook. A small doubling on the letters, an unusual shift in the design, or even the wrong reverse could mean the difference between a penny and a fortune. The 1959 Lincoln 1-cent coin teaches us a powerful lesson. Value often hides in plain sight. Something as simple as a penny, something most people ignore, can hold immense worth if you know where to look. For collectors, the hunt is as exciting as the discovery itself. And the 1959 penny continues to inspire that passion more than 6 decades after it was struck. So the next time you find a 1959 penny in your pocket change, don't dismiss it as just another cent. Study it carefully. Check for errors, look at the reverse, and examine the details. Because while most are worth only a penny, a few rare and extraordinary examples could be worth life-changing sums. Somewhere out there, hidden among billions of coins, could be the $1 million 1959 penny that collectors dream of finding, and it might just end up in your hand.